Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In today's class, we will be covering Surah Al-Kafirun, Surah in the 11th part out of the last 15 surahs of the Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. This introduction to this surah, Hazrat Muslim Maud says that it is generally agreed that this surah was revealed at Mecca. Hassan Ikramah and Ibn Abbas are of this opinion. Ibn Masud, being one of the earliest companions of the Holy Prophet, his opinion about the date of the revelation of a particular surah naturally carries great weight. Noldike places this chapter in the beginning of the 4th year of the call. This fact incidentally belies the baseless accusation of some Christian hostile critics of Islam that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had agreed to make a compromise with idolatry at the time of revelation of chapter 53, which by common consent was revealed in the 5th year of the call, as in the surah under comment, which was revealed only 1 year before the supposed compromise with idolatry in every shape or form has been emphatically rejected. The subject matter of the surah has a deep connection with that of the surah preceding it. No two surahs perhaps are so intimately connected with each other as these are. The subject dealt with in the opening verses of the surah inevitably flows from and is the direct result of the subject treated in Surah Al-Kawthar. In Surah Al-Kawthar, it was stated that spiritual and material blessings will be bestowed upon the Holy Prophet ﷺ, such as have no parallel or precedent in human history. As a new Adam, he will be the progenitor of a new world, and his progeny alone will continue to prosper. In the surah under comment, those disbelievers against whom a divine decree had gone forth that they will not accept Islam are admonished that if, having seen manifest signs in support of the Holy Prophet, they refuse to accept him, how could they accept Muslims to give up their faith and accept their foolish and fantastic doctrines? If disbelievers entertained any such hope, they were mistaken. The only reasonable course left to them was to wait for God's judgment to come into operation. Then he says that in view of the importance of the subject matter of the surah, the Holy Prophet ﷺ enjoined its frequent recital. He is reported to have said that Surah Ikhlas was equal to 1/3 of the Quran, the present surah to 1/4 of it, and whosoever would frequently recite these two surahs and deliberate, that is, to ponder over and think over their subject matter, would command great respect and prestige. meaning that as Surah Ikhlas deals with a basic principle of Islam, divine unity, and as in the present surah, believers are enjoined courageously to stick to their faith in a hostile environment or under adverse circumstances, he who will comprehend and realize the significance and importance of these surahs will necessarily command great respect. So in light of this introduction, we should understand that we live in a society where the unity of God or belief in God is looked down upon, and we're living more and more so in an atheistic society where rationality, science, nature is taking over or replacing religion. And so if we look at in the context where we are living in today, the Surah Al-Kafirun is a very befitting to a situation where our beliefs are being compromised in so many ways, and we should hold tight and firm on our belief and the unity of God. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. Au nom d'Allah, le Gracieux, le Miséricordieux. Allah के नाम के साथ जो बे इंतहा रहम करने वाला, बिन मांगे देने वाला और बार बार रहम करने वाला है. B is in Arabic, the Arabic translation in English is with. Français au, Urdu में साथ, ism is name, nom en français and nom en français and nom in Urdu. Allah is the same in all languages. Ar-Rahman is gracious, le gracieux, be had rahim wala, Ar-Rahim, merciful, le miséricordieux, bar rahim karne wala. So continuing last in the commentary about the two attributes of Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. In my last class, I was reading from the commentary of Hazrat Masih Maud on these two attributes, and I'm continuing where I left off, just to give a more depth of understanding of these attributes. This is why I'm giving this commentary, so we are always, in each class, we are given some new insight into these attributes or into this ayat, Bismillah ar-Rahman. So Hazur says that Allah manifests himself in the universe at times as the lover and at times as the beloved. And that is that when he is the lover, he shows his love to the creation, and he becomes the beloved, meaning that people worship him or people love him or show their love towards him. And these two attributes shed the light on the sun of providence upon the earth of obedience. So then he explains this, and he goes more into it by saying Allah in turn becomes the beloved, with the worshipper becoming the seeker or lover of his sought after beloved, that is the beloved. And at times the worshipper man becomes the object of love, or he becomes beloved, and God his lover, choosing him as his objective. There is not the least doubt that human nature, being endowed with love, friendliness, and yearning, man yearns for a beloved who should draw him towards himself through manifestations of beauty and bounty, and that he should have a loving and comforting friend who should stand by him in times of fear and distress, secure him against the failure of his effort, and fulfill his hopes. Allah therefore determined upon granting man full measure that which his nature demanded, and to perfect his favor unto him through his vast bounty. He therefore chose to manifest himself to man through his attributes of Rahman. Sorry, there's a little typo here. Rahman and Rahim. There is no doubt that these two attributes are a link between divine providence and human submission, and by means of these two, the circle of human insight into the divine and human journey towards Him becomes complete. All other divine attributes are comprehended in the refulgent light, that is the brightness of these two attributes, and are but drops in the vastness of their ocean. So very simply put here is that Rahman is that attribute or that understanding of that word where Allah is gracious, He gives without and anything. So He is showing His love, and this is what Promised Messiah is explaining here, that He becomes the divine providence. He is showing that divine providence, and that is the expression of love from God, where He is the lover. And then Rahim is that where by which Allah returns to His beloved. That is that when after showing His love without doing anything for the gift of providence or whatever we were given through this world, the person realizes that he is attracted towards God, and then he starts to return back that favor through His love. So this relationship of love is described here in such so beautiful way, and this is what he is alluding to or explaining to about these two attributes, these two words, Rahman and Rahim. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. Say, O ye disbelievers. Dis, ô vous mécréants, kahde ke e kafiru. Here the first word is kul, which is in English is say, en français dis, Urdu mein kahde. Ya ayyuha, this in English is O you, and en français O vous. Urdu mein e tum, ya e vo. Al-Kafirun, this is the disbelievers. En français, mécréants. Urdu mein kafiru. Here, Hazrat Muslim Maud says that the divine command expressed by kul, that is say, applies besides the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to every Muslim. Besides the present surah, this word is placed at the beginning of chapter 72, 112, 113, and 114, and is used in about 306 verses of the Quran. And wherever it is used, it emphasizes the importance of the subject governed by it. Thus, believers are enjoined to proclaim loudly and repeatedly, and to convey to disbelievers in clear and definite terms the great principles of Islam enunciated and emphasized in the present surah. The use of ayyuha, that is, O ye, is intended to draw pointed attention to the subject matter of the surah and to emphasize its importance. The expression has frequently been used in the Quran to serve this purpose. The word al-kafirun, the disbelievers, has a general application, or it may refer to those confirmed disbelievers who, by their persistence and defiant rejection of truth, rule out all possibility of accepting it, and disbelief becomes, as it were, a part of their being. La a'budu ma ta'budun. I worship not as you worship. Je n'adorerai pas ce que vous adorez. मैं उसकी इबादत नहीं करूँगा जिसकी तुम इबादत करते हो. The first word in Arabic is la. This is not in English. En français, ne pas. Urdu में नहीं. A'budu is I worship. J'adorerai en français. Urdu में मैं इबादत करता. Ma in English is which. En français is ce que. Urdu में जिसकी. Ta'budun. Ta'buduna is you worship in English. En français, vous adorez. Urdu में तुम इबादत करते हो. Hazrat Muslim comments on this verse and says that various explanations have been given to the present and the next three verses by commentators. Some say that as the pagan Meccans had put their question in two forms, therefore two forms have been adopted in answer to their question. Others say that the repetition is for the sake of emphasis. Yet some others, like Zajjaj, are of the opinion that the first two sentences signify denial of worship in the present time, and the last two sentences denial of it in future. As against this, Zamakhshari says that the first two sentences stand for denial of worship in future, while the last two for that in the past. Be that as it may, when la or no or not governs muzara, signifies future tense. So according to this usage of the particle, the expression would mean I will never worship. وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ. Nor do you worship as I worship. Et ni vous êtes adorateur de ce que j'adore. Or ना तुम उसकी इबादत करने वाले हो जिसकी मैं इबादत करता हूँ. So here the word which we repeat many times, wa is and in English and a en français or Urdu in Urdu. La is nor, ni en français and Urdu में na. Antum is you, en français vous, Urdu में तुम. Abiduna is worship, en français adorateur, Urdu में ibadat करने वाले हो. Ma is what in English and ce que en français and jiski Urdu में. Abudu is I worship, j'adore en français, and Urdu में मैं ibadat करता हूँ. وَلَا أَنَا عَابِدٌ مَا عَبَّدْتُمْ. And I shall not worship that which you worship. Et jamais je ne deviendrai, et jamais je ne deviendrai, excusez, j'ai un grand problème de prononcer cet mot en français. I'll try it again. Et jamais je ne deviendrai adorateur de ce que vous avez adoré. और मैं कभी उसकी इबादत करने वाला नहीं बनूंगा जिसकी तुमने इबादत की है. So, va is and en français et las nor en français ni. Urdu में na, ana is I am. En français je suis. Abidun, worship in English, and adorateur en français. Ma is which. Urdu में abidun ibadat karunga. Ma is which, ce que en français and jiski Urdu में. Abatun, you worship, vous avez adoré. Urdu में तुम ने इबादत की. ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد. So we actually covered this already because this is the repetition verse. Verse 6 is a repetition. So we've already covered that. So nor will you worship what I worship. Tu n'adoreras pas non plus ce que j'adore. Or na tum uski ibadat karne wale banunge jiski मैं ibadat karta हूँ. So we'll just go to the last verse. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. And for you your religion, and for me my religion. À vous votre religion, et à moi ma religion. तुम्हारे लिए तुम्हारा दीन है, or मेरे लिए मेरा दीन. So here the first word is la, and the translation in English is for. En français, pour, or kun is you in English, and vous en français. Deen is religion, religion en français. En Urdu में deen. Kun again is you or votre. Urdu में तुम्हारा. Wo, wa is and, a, or. La, li, Urdu में is for. Sorry, li Urdu में waste. In English it's for, and en français pour or a. Ya is me. En français moi. Urdu में मेरे. Deen is my, dini is my religion. Ma religion en français. Urdu में मेरा deen. Here, as the Muslim who says that the different meanings of deen, which we went through, and I just put it down here, which we'll go over after reading what he comments on this ayat. He says that according to these, the verse signifies, as there is absolutely no meeting ground between your way of life and mine, and as we are in complete disagreement not only with regard to the basic concepts of religion, but also with regard to its details and other aspects, therefore there cannot possibly be any compromise between us. So he said, for the meaning which we this is sort of a revision of words. Ad-Din was translated in chapter 107 verses 2, that it was translated as the judgment, but Din means requital or recompense, or when you're being judged for something. It also means obedience. It also means judgment or reckoning. It also means ascendancy or predominance. It also means mastery or rule, and it could also mean plan or prayer, religious organization, righteousness, in state or condition, divine decree, or habit or custom. So, Jazakumullah, that is finishing that surah today. Inshallah, we'll continue tomorrow with the next surah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.